There's a lot of takes flying around. I don't really think I was as much a part of that.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
No one go back and listen to the episodes where we advocated for like starting Moose over Jordan. All right, let's hit this agenda check. I have 4 written down. We can make this pretty quick because I feel like they're pretty simple. Obed was the one who strengthened his agenda, which he continues to do. But that was a really sick goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like the finish on that one, just seeing him get on the score sheet again. There's one player who managed to up his stock in a debacle of a game like this. I would say it was him.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we've been looking at with him. It seems like no matter how dark the game is or how bad of a spot that the team is in, Obed is still constantly improving, and he's just this bright spot. He played a great game all around. I don't even think I would. It clearly wasn't his fault that they lost, but man, it's like crazy to see him improve. And dude, I know we keep saying we're gonna hate to see him leave, but I mean, his value just has to be by the week increasing to like absurd amounts.
Absolutely, and I think that's a good way to think of it. Is like every time he makes a play like that, the price goes up.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Exactly. We had the RBW over Nuhu agenda. I hate to say it, but pretty diminished. There was a lot of takes flying around. Okay, there's a lot of takes flying around. I don't really think I was as much a part of that. I'm on record as not being as anti-Nuhu as some of the brigade out there, and a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people disagree with me on that. But I thought this was a pretty rough one for RBW. He is 19, so let's keep that in mind. And growing pains with a young player like that. Every young player, there's going to be moments like that. But correct me if I'm wrong, but on at least 2 of the goals, RBW was pretty involved on the sequence that led up to it. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. And as a purveyor of this agenda, I feel quite embarrassed. This was not a good showing for our boy here. But again, like you said, he's 19. There are going to be hiccups and goosebumps. You have to let kids play and learn their position. But it was not a good look for him.
I think my takeaway from watching those sequences was just that he's still very toolsy. He's got a lot of really great traits, and I love his upside, like we've talked about, as an attacking fullback or just a winger. And I think he's got all the skills to be very effective in that role and become like a very sought after player for an overseas transfer and all that. I still believe all that. I think his 1v1 defending is a work in progress. That's probably the biggest part of his game that he needs to develop. At least if the plan is to have him be a fullback, that's the part of his game that he's going to have to work on and develop a little more to really maximize what he can do at that position. And then otherwise, I think you might be maybe better served to play him higher up the field, like we've talked about this year, where maybe that two-way skill set isn't as important. But to play that position, really like the ideal modern fullback is a two-way player, and so if your defending is lax, that does not lend itself well to playing that position. So I definitely not bagging on RBW. This is a pro RBW
Correct.
podcast,
yeah.
And I think he's shown enough this year that anyone who is still excited about his upside is well within their rights to do so, to feel that way. I know I'm still pretty excited and intrigued by his upside, but this week, agenda diminished.
I think also like the specific RBW over Nuhu agenda is diminished, but I think in a weird way, the RBW playing higher up the field agenda is
two different agendas.
Increased.
Yeah.
They play off each other.
Good point. Yeah, those are two different agendas. We'll do the Moose one real quick. Diminished again.
He's bad. he is genuinely bad. I'm gonna just take this one over for a second here because I have to let this out. I watch him play and it genuinely frustrates me. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what his position is, because when he's at the 9, he's not playing the 9. He's just getting in the way, or he's fumbling the pass. He's getting a great pass in, and he's like, let me take the world's largest touch and then fumble the ball. This guy is bad.
Well, at least with Hebert, you know, like it was almost more frustrating to watch in a way because he was getting in great spots and had these like wide open high percentage chances, and then he would just miss them or blammo them off the post as hard as he possibly could, which that was frustrating in its own way. But
he was creating high percentage chances, though.
Yeah, he was getting in those spots and just not finishing. Whereas it doesn't feel like when Moose has gotten his run this year, he had the one goal right early in the year, and remember we were like vibing on. We were like, yes,
that was when Hebert Jordan and Raul were like just garbage, like stinky mode, and we were like, all right, activate Moose.
Oh god, no one go back and listen to the episodes where we advocated for like starting Moose over Jordan. And I probably said that at some point because he had scored a goal and he was looking.
He was the hot hand.
He was the hot hand, and he scored like a pretty big goal in that San Jose game, which they eventually lost. But you know, I defend our advocacy for that agenda in hindsight, because at the time it felt like he was the best option. But it is what's unfortunate about it is it's been a kind of a bust of a year for Moose, and I thought, much like the Hebert signing, I thought the reasoning and the process made sense. You had a bit of an undervalued asset in the sense that Moose, his underlying numbers and his like goals and assists per 90 were very, very good. He just had never been in a situation where he had gotten enough minutes to like have the stat sheet production that reflected that. But I think the process of finding a backup 9 who has that really good goals and assists per 90 and is shown to be an efficient player in the minutes that he has gotten, that makes sense in principle, but it has not really worked out this year. And it's basically like, it's essentially like another Hebert. That's what's going on here.
So. I'm gonna put this out there, and you know what? Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I genuinely think Hebert is a better player than Moose. Because if you look at what he's doing in China right now, Hebert's kind of balling low key.
Yeah, which that's its whole separate topic. He went to I don't know if it's still happening, but he went to China and just started banging in goals. He was banging
again, like good goals too.
Yeah. He had a free kick.
Yeah,
Golazo.
It was like insane. Yeah. It was so good.
It was like he's taking set pieces for them.
Yeah,
and he's bamming. Which that honestly that pissed me off in a way, but and Hebert was also really good on NYCFC. So
yeah. I like for all the memes about Hebert, I was never like actively like I hate you, and I'm not actively I hate you about Moose either. I'm just like I watch him play and I'm just angry. And I think that I was more with Hebert. I was more just like frustrated because I
was amazed by Hebert.
Yeah, it was like it was
like a sight to behold.
Yeah, yeah, it was like it shouldn't have. It literally reveled all statistical probability.
It set off an entire like 4 months of XG discourse. By its one player.
One player single-handedly validated all of my feelings about XG.
I don't even harbor any negative feelings about his tenure on the team. I
kind of love him now.
Yeah, because of the novelty.
Yeah,
I've never. I mean, I guess it's happened with Seattle before, because before Hebert there was Nelson Valdez,
legend,
who it was the exact same thing where he had all these really good high percentage chances, and honestly, Hebert was more recent, so it might feel worse, but I think Nelson Valdez was even more snake bit.
Yeah.
We're kind of getting on like a tangent here, but I'm kind of into it because we're going down memory lane. But because the Nelson Valdez one was funny. That was a good bit because he just started balling in the playoffs and scoring a bunch of goals, and they won MLS Cup.
Yep.
So his tenure turned out to be validated, but it is an interesting trend, I guess. Nelson Valdez wasn't a backup 9. He was like brought in to be the starter.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a little different in that way too. But I don't know if there's anything to that. But when you throw in that one, the Hebert one, and now the Moose one, it's definitely three of the stranger number 9 situations that I've seen. All right, last agenda.